Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. I honestly did not really expect to be gone for such a long time, and in fact, if you've been following me for a while, it actually really bothers me to not have a schedule like the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule that I've held for the most part for the last couple of years. Now, this video has some trigger warnings. Now, there is some eating disorder type shit. There is some, I don't want to say necessarily suicidal ideation because it's not exactly that, but let's say something akin to that. And generally, it's an uncomfortable video. That might sound kind of funny because I make mental health videos here and there, and they're usually no big deal in the sense of I don't feel nervous, I don't feel uncomfortable, I don't feel like I'm really putting myself out there in a way that's extremely vulnerable, let's say. However, this time things have been very different. I want to kind of start with a timeline, and when I mention this timeline, I want to be clear, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not trying to say that someone doing something is the cause of my problems, because that is not the case in the least. So just to be clear. Now, not that long ago, or it feels not that long ago, Creepshow Art, or Shannon, came back to YouTube. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because to me that's a time marker, like that specific moment in time begins other things. So I'm not blaming her, it's more of, oh yeah, when that happened, then all of this other shit happened. And so when that happened, to be completely transparent, I did not want to discuss anything to do with that. The main thing was that I thought that a chapter had closed and randomly it reopened, which gave me immense panic, even though it had essentially nothing to do with me, even though we were friends, sure. And that day I had a 4-hour panic attack, which was by far the worst panic attack I've had in my life. Even after medication, I was not calming down. It was extremely bad, to the point where I had to tell, my manager and people that I was sponsored with and working with, being like, I cannot function right now. Like I said, that's an isolated incident. That's not to say, oh, because of this, everything went to shit. No. That's not the case. So, anyway, that was a time marker for me. Since then, I feel like I have gone into the deepest, darkest period of my life. And there's no real sugarcoating that. And I think that the people that know me and that are around me know that very well. Mainly because I didn't think things were as bad as they were. I mean, I could not get out of bed. I was tired all the time. I was taking multiple naps a day. I wasn't eating. In fact, I didn't eat for about a week, to the point where we were wondering whether it was time to go to the hospital. It was a very difficult time. And the reason I actually even realized that I was going through a hard time and that it was noticeable, aside from not uploading on YouTube, which to me is very important, was that there were people reaching out to me being like, are you okay? I hope you're okay. People reaching out to my husband. Like, it was very much an intense period where it wasn't just me feeling like shit, which is the usual thing, but that I can usually, not necessarily hide, but that I can contain, let's say. But it turned very much into people around me being like, you are not okay right now. You are not okay. And that was very much true, as much as I might not want to admit that to myself at the time. It was very much true that, you know, sleeping all day, not eating, waking up feeling weak because you're not eating. And the thing was that it wasn't like I was actively not eating, and I'm saying that in terms of an eating disorder type of perspective. It wasn't like, oh, I don't want to eat. It was genuinely like, I'm not hungry. I don't really want to be here. Everything just sucks. I don't know what to do. I feel like a failure. Like all these feelings that, are rather typical of depression. The majority of my therapists always described me as high functioning depression, meaning that though I was depressed, I could get up and do the things I had to do. I could shower, I could go to work, I could do whatever I had to do. And I realized that in some way, somehow, I don't know like what triggered it exactly, I fell into low functioning depression. And that's not to minimize low functioning depression or to stigmatize it, but I went from someone who was usually able to do things to actually not being able to do them at all, from like 0 to 100. So I didn't know how to process, okay, I used to be able to get out of bed. Now I can't really do it. How do I proceed? Like, how do I get out of this? How do I move on from this? And I think that's what happened. Now, I don't know what the triggering event was, but regardless, that's what happened. Now, that's also why I wasn't uploading to YouTube, because due to that, but also due to the fact that I was having way more anxiety than I usually would have. And a silly but very typical example of that type of anxiety was that I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna film, I have a topic, I wanna talk about this, blah, blah, blah. I'd go to my mirror and I'd try and do my eyeliner, and I'd be so shaky that I couldn't even do my eyeliner, I couldn't do my makeup, I was just like this, basically. That stopped me from doing anything, because then I'd get into my head so much that it became impossible to even move on from it. It became impossible, like even if I managed to do my eyeliner, I was still in my head being like, why were you shaking so much? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you like this? Blah, blah, blah. I took some time off. That being said, that doesn't mean I haven't been thinking about YouTube. On the contrary, I've been thinking about YouTube a lot. And I've realized that some of it is a certain level of burnout, not in a very extreme way, but more in a way of, I want to do long form content, but I also can't do 3 times a week short form content plus long form content and the research that comes with long form content, which is like the bulk of it all. So I might be posting less times a week in terms of the short form content, just so I have more time to do the research for the long form content. I will be back. I will be back soon, in the next few days. I didn't want to worry anyone, but I also did not want to come back and bullshit anyone about how things were going, because things have been extremely rough, mentally and physically. So I just wanted to let you guys know kind of what was going on. And To everyone who reached out, I appreciate it. If I haven't responded to you yet, I will try to respond ASAP. But I basically ignored my phone for said reasons, you know, just the depression made me want to stay away from anything and everyone, and in fact made me isolate myself from even my closest friends, from even my family who got concerned. So that's basically what has been happening, and that's why I've been away. I just wanted to let you guys know, and again, as usual, this is not like a woe is me video. This is not like feel bad for me, whatever. No, like these are just like facts of what happened, and that's really all there is to it. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to vent in the comments down below, as always with these videos, you guys know I support that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.